Hello, welcome back. This is Niaga AWANI with me, Ibrahim Sani, and my colleague Harits. We're talking about some developments when it comes to the travel industry, and this is because much of the travel industry has been seeing an uptick, particularly in recent weeks. Joining us on the line is, of course, Angelica, the CEO of Malaysia Traveloka. Angelica, let's talk about a bit about the whole idea of how the numbers have been picking up. And what does this mean for the hospitality business?
Morning. That's a very good question, Ibrahim. It is also very, very interesting to see how Malaysians are starting to travel and business is actually picking up as the world opens up. So our flight searches for overseas destinations on travel swag between April and May this year. It has really recovered to as high as the same period.
In January this year, the flight was only made up of a quarter of our total flight booking during the pre-pandemic. But now we actually see an even split between domestic and international bookings. So what we are seeing now is that as of yesterday, from the start of our campaign, our international travel Siastar campaign, the data actually shows us that the top 5 countries that Malaysians are interested to travel were actually Indonesia, Singapore, Vietnam, Thailand, and even Philippines. And it also goes as far as the UK. Domestically, however, is KL, KK, Kuching, and Penang. So the majority of the bookings, we do see that
it is a short time frame of booking. So looking at about June, July, kind of a booking window. But we also see a very significant surge in spike for the holiday destinations in the UK, particularly for December.
The overall issuance of international flight tickets have also grown 40%, as per revealed by your research. And of course, however, this is observed that there is a difference in app users' booking behavior. If you compare 2019, their bookings were pretty straightforward: search for best deals, book their flights and accommodation and fly. This time around, in 2022, post-pandemic, we're looking at app users being observed as researching their trips a little bit more. What are they researching for, and why is there a change of consumer behavior in this sense?
Well, since the pandemic, majority of our customers now are actually using handphones, right? So there is a shift of consumers using handphones, and we see that in Malaysia, about 88%, or around the world, 88% of our consumers are now using the app. So looking at the consumer behavior, during the pre-pandemic period, where consumers are actually still a little bit apprehensive with regards to COVID-19 and the restrictions of each of the countries as we open up. Information is also required on the app. Deals, of course, right? So the variety of deals available and information on the destination itself. It's also being searched in our app. So in Traveloka itself, like particularly during this travel fair, we provide then the deals that we see that the consumers are looking for. So we engage with the customers by providing substantial deals and also providing information of where they can go, or of COVID-19 restrictions of each of the countries. So with the appetite that the consumers have, we engage our customers through live streams that is happening in Traveloka's social media. And we also have a lucky winner that can get 2 free tickets to Istanbul, courtesy by Turkish Airlines. And as well as 2 free tickets to Bali, courtesy of Malaysia Airlines. So flash sales are also provided during the time of 9 to 12 p.m. daily. So basically providing deals and information to our consumers.
Yeah. Angelica, how has the various COVID-19 requirements in various countries impacted travel choices?
Well, as you know, like even from Malaysia, right? We were one of the first country to make it easier for our consumers to travel. So no COVID-19 tests required in Malaysia. So it makes it easier for consumer to actually travel into Malaysia. Similarly to other countries, right? The more relaxed it is for the consumers, the more likelihood that consumers would want to travel overseas, right? And that is an impact, and of course the cost as well of doing the COVID-19 tests. It is a cost factor, but also I think people do understand the need of having the COVID-19 tests during the pandemic period.
How do you think companies like yourself are adapting to this rise of travel requirements?
Well, we are guided by the Traveloka principles, right? So there are actually two things that we look at: is the consumers part of it. So we invent, we seize the opportunity and invent things that is useful, right, to the consumers. So we don't invent things that are for the sake of innovation, right? So on the consumer point of view, we look at the data, we see what is the consumers' needs and requirements, and from there then we actually collaborate with our partners. And I think that is very important. That's one of the biggest strategy that we have, right? Collaborating with the consumers to our partners. So for instance, with this campaign that we're having currently, Go Overseas International Travel Fiesta, we partner with our airlines, right? So with Malaysia Airlines, Turkish Airlines, Philippine Airlines, and Singapore Airlines. And all these airlines are providing us up to 30% discount exclusively to Traveloka. For hotels, on the other hand, they also provide about 20% or 50% discounts for the consumers. And then for experiences, also up to 30% to our consumers. So all these factors does help in collaborating with one another and providing the best deals for our consumers.
Angelica, a very quick one. If we are planning to travel, for instance, myself, I'm planning to travel very soon. What will be some of the tips and tricks that you can share with us as travelers that is traveling during this post-pandemic period?
Well, the first and foremost important thing is actually to look at the guidelines and the restrictions of each of the country. I think that's very important before you fly, right? And then subsequently, then of course, make your bookings through the app, right? For either your hotel, search for good deals, and yes, and then just travel, freely. But make sure that you actually look at the SOPs.
Travel freely, travel safe. Thanks, Angelica. That was Angelica Chan, the country manager for Traveloka, Malaysia.
Thank you.
All right, we now move to some international news. The most important thing right now is, of course, China. The Purchasing Managers Index PMI for China's manufacturing sector came in at 49.6 in May, up 2.2 percentage points from April. The data jointly released by the China Federation of Logistics and Purchasing and the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, on Tuesday. A reading above 50 indicates expansion, while a reading below 50 reflects contraction. And China's manufacturing exports also show recovery in May, with the sub-index for new export orders rising 4.6 percentage points from the previous month to 46.2. As for employment and the employment index, it came up at 47.6 in May, up 0.4 percentage points from the previous month. Chai from China also pointed out that although the PMI rebounded substantially in May, it still did not recover to the expansion range, and the recovery of market demand is insufficient. The economist, an economist analyst said that Russia has found an easy market for its energy resources and won't feel the financial hit for some time. CEO at Macro Advisory Limited, Chris Weaver, said that China and India as the main buyers for Russian oil because they're both countries that are getting big discounts on global market prices. Weaver said that it will likely become an increasingly difficult one for Russia to find customers for its oil and may lead to bigger discounts going forward. In the most recent significant effort yet to push Russia for its military operation in Ukraine, the EU, or European Union, this week agreed to ban the overwhelming majority of Russian oil imports after tense negotiations that tested how far the bloc is willing to go to ostracize Moscow. Before the war, Europe got 40% of its natural gas and 25% of its oil from Russia. We'll go for one short break. When we come back, we'll discuss a bit more on the local bourse.